Hey, welcome back. Folks, today we are looking at a complex web of global events directly impacting South Korea's economy, starting with the rising geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and how they are fundamentally altering global trade and tariffs. Let's begin with the situation in the Middle East. With the ongoing US-Iran conflict, the US has actively cut off military supply routes. In fact, according to reports, Donald Trump recently stated that the destruction hasn't even started. The immediate economic fallout is highly visible in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global energy artery. Due to the severe instability, the number of LNG, or liquefied natural gas, ships passing through the strait recently dropped to zero, although Oman has managed to partially secure a transit route. This instability is prompting major diplomatic maneuvers. During a recent summit at the Blue House, President Lee and French President Emmanuel Macron addressed these exact issues. President Lee diagnosed that the Middle East conflict is shaking the international order and sending ripple effects throughout the global economy and energy sectors. In response, President Macron emphasized that South Korea and France can strengthen defense cooperation to help stabilize the region, specifically calling for an end to the violence in the Hormuz area. To solidify this economic and security alliance, the two nations revised 3 agreements and signed 11 memorandums of understanding, focusing heavily on strategic sectors like the nuclear power supply chain, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence. Listeners, this geopolitical shift is forcing a rapid rethink of Korea's traditional business strategies. Kim Jong-kwon recently stressed that South Korea must urgently accelerate a great industrial transition. The core message here is that the traditional, efficiency-centered growth model is no longer viable, and the focus must pivot strictly toward national economic security. We are already seeing exactly why this transition is necessary when looking at new U.S. trade barriers. According to a U.S. announcement on April 2nd, there's a new tariff structure for imported products containing steel, aluminum, and copper. Under the new rules, if those metals make up more than 15% of a product's weight, the U.S. will apply a flat 25% tariff based on the total product price. This replaces the previous system, which applied a 50% tariff based strictly on metal weight. As a result, Korean home appliance exports, like washing machines, are expected to face a heavier financial burden. However, there is a buffer for the power grid sector. The tariff on equipment like transformers will be delayed until 2027 and reduced to a 15% rate. Industries like cosmetics, food, and furniture are also expected to see some indirect benefits from these structural changes. Finally, in the pharmaceutical sector, South Korea managed to successfully negotiate its position. While the U.S. pushed a 100% tariff on medicines, South Korean pharmaceuticals secured a much lower 15% rate, buffering the industry from a significant financial hit. That's all for today's deep dive. We'll be back with more insights. You've been listening to the Korea Economy Brief, straight from the front page of Seoul Economic Daily. Thanks for tuning in.